There are a multitude of alt football leagues out there that are forever kicking off quote-unquote next season only to kick the can down the road over and over. Now, one of those is the National Gridiron League. It has had its share of controversy since attempting its first season back in 2019.
Former team president Jim Riggs is suing the National Gridiron League.
The National Gridiron League announced it's canceled its 2019 inaugural season.
You can't keep shattering people's dreams.
I talked with the commissioner of the National Gridiron League, Joe McClendon, about the controversies. We talk about his side of the stories and his plans to continue to try to get. McClendon says that experience, good and bad, helped him get a vision of a league of his own. In 2018, the league he created, the National Gridiron League, held tryouts and announced team names and cities for an upcoming 2019 kickoff. But by 2019, doubts were already surfacing. In Roanoke, Virginia, for example, McClendon assured city officials that the league would launch in April, despite media skepticism. He even appeared on local TV to reiterate his commitment.
How certain are you that football will start in April and that we'll be ready to go?
I wouldn't be sitting in this seat if I went 100%.
Just weeks before the season was set to begin, the league issued a press release announcing a postponement, dismissing media criticism as baseless. The release insisted the league would still launch now in May. However,
the new Arena Football League set to come to Roanoke this year is not coming after all. Multiple league stakeholders confirm the National Gridiron League is on hold.
In April, the head coach of the Indiana Firebirds, one of the announced NGL teams, said the NGL was DOA. That led to the president of the team to say he would file a lawsuit in federal court.
Former team president Jim Riggs is suing the National Gridiron League, claiming it was never paid.
There was a team in Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah.
Some of the, some of the front office personnel there said they didn't get paid, and they said they were going to file a lawsuit, like a federal lawsuit. A couple questions there. What happened, and did a lawsuit ever get filed?
No lawsuit was ever filed, but at the end of the day, it wasn't a situation where, I was trying to do them wrong. But at the end of the day, Evansville, to be honest with you, they gave us a great deal. They really worked. With us. A great city. I liked it a lot, but it's not a situation where I'm coming in and it's one franchise. All the other additional franchises and those deals got to make sense as well, and we just couldn't get them done in time. And during that time period, I was still young. But at the same time, John, if I'm not making money, how am I gonna pay them to make money?
Right.
And it was a situation where we were trying to get things together. I felt like we was running out of time.
While COVID-19 disrupted most sports in 2020, McClendon said the NGL would shift to a more traditional model and then launch in 2021. Instead of city-based teams playing in local arenas, the plan was now to host all 12 teams in a single bubble in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That was one of the cities set to host a 2019 team before the shutdown. Players say they were told their lodging would be covered, but when hotel bills went unpaid, players were told to leave. McClendon and some players staged a protest demanding that the city cover their expenses. City officials denied ever committing to pay for hotel rooms or hosting games. They said there were only preliminary discussions with McClendon, but no formal agreement. Shortly after, McClendon informed players they would receive no financial assistance or refunds for tryout fees. That announcement did not go over well, leading to tempers flaring and a physical confrontation. Some players organized a GoFundMe campaign to recover their lost money, calling the whole thing a scam.
In terms of planning a bubble, there was some things where we're going to need as far as assistance. Be honest with you, planning a bubble, you're not going to make money. It was really, again, just trying to get it to the proof of concept and really have put something together. I felt like that would get us some momentum going into the following year. In terms of the particulars, there was conversations had. And they knew we was going to need help, and they knew the type of help that we was expecting. But to be honest with you, it came, a lot of things during that time period, they were trying to get done for us in terms of some of those city officials. But to be honest with you, the clock kind of ran on us. And we had a third party involved in between both of us that was helping out with a lot of it. And that third party wasn't necessarily being honest on our end and their end. So, yes, I had sit downs with the leading officials there. They knew exactly what we was trying to do. They knew the assistance that we was going to need to make it happen. Unfortunately, it just didn't get done in time. But players are already arriving. So at that point, we had to let them know that it wasn't feasible. in terms of us supporting that whole situation by ourselves. No. So I mean, anybody with good sense would know that during that time period when folks weren't able to, come out and be a part of the situation, and we trying to do something, the bubble is going to require assistance.
In August 2021, McClendon rebranded, announcing the formation of a new league, the United Football League, not affiliated with the earlier UFL from the mid-2000s or the current UFL that emerged from the USFL-XFL merger. This UFL, set to kick off in 2023, was billed as an 8-on-8 spring league with games played in modular stadiums. Now, fast forward to 2022, players again paid fees to attend tryouts, and coaches were hired. Ambitious plans, including building a stadium in an Oklahoma City mall parking lot. In early 2023, mall representatives said McClendon failed to pay a deposit and later blocked their calls.
But at the end of the day, John, what it really came down to, I had been working with the owners of that property for some time. And then the owners had put a manager in place in terms of, because they wanted to really get that, because the mall was, at that point, it had been shut down. They wanted to get it back going. And so when it came time to make first deposit, we made that, I made the first $5,000 deposit, but I sent it directly to the owner. I didn't send it to management. And then, the other $5,000 before that same day, I get a call from not the manager of the property, but the manager's husband.
Right.
And he's going berserk. And he was like, well, we sent information for a wire. It's supposed to be coming through. But my suspicion rose when the wire information, in terms of, with wires, it didn't come from a business account. It came from a personal account. So once I kind of noticed that, I contacted the owner and was like, are you sure this is the right account? Just go to a personal. He had no knowledge of the account. And they were doing something in terms of the management group, and her and her husband were doing something where they were kind of moving funds around. I don't know what all they were trying to do. That's not my business, but it just didn't look right. And so once I kind of stopped, like, hold on, what's going on? And it blew up. They immediately went try to go public to try to smear me in terms of. But if you really look into that situation, they were doing some underhand things, and I just kind of saw what was going on. So, to be honest with you, I took a $5,000 loss on that. I didn't try to recoup on that. There's some other situations where you might say, I done had a venue say they did give a deposit. I sent $50,000 to those situations. Be honest with you, and then for them to kind of say this or that, I thought was real bad distaste on their end. Because, to be honest with you, they received $50,000 from it, and it's been. If you notice, a lot of times I haven't said a lot. I didn't, because at the end of the day, if I was so wrong in a lot of those situations, I would have been a court.
During the build-up to 2023, reports surfaced of players alleging they were scammed after paying tryout fees.
Every player had to pay $75 for their tryout.
In Richmond, Virginia, Tyrese Williams told local CBS affiliate WTVR he had been promised a $50,000 salary after being selected in player tryouts. Coach Douglas Joyner backed him up. Both said they were never paid.
No money has never touched my hand.
McClendon says the money promised was to play, not an advance contract. So when McClendon pushed the league to 2024 with no games played, he says there were no payments to be made.
My contracts with players and coaches, they get paid per game. So if there's no games played, then how can I owe them funds on a lot of that? But at the end of the day, I think a lot of guys at the end of the day, when they take time to really step away from it, they might be emotional at that point. They see that I'm really going to establish something that's going to be here and could be fruitful. But the business, man, is, I had to learn.
After the UFL quietly disappeared, McClendon returned in 2024 with a familiar banner, the National Gridiron League, that would kick off in 2025. The league website listed the teams, including new expansion franchises. Local outlets in Grand Rapids, Michigan covered the announcement as the NGL press release said an expansion team would arrive in 2026. But as the 2025 kickoff neared, the league was pushed from April to May, then May to June. And afterward, McClendon said season ticket sales were slow, and the league pivoted to what is called a showcase model for centralized events rather than a traditional season. In July, the National Gridiron League posted a release saying 6 of the original 8 teams participated in a training camp, and all 8 teams are set to play exhibition games in October. The release says each team is slated to participate in 3 exhibition games over the course of that month after practices in September through January, all aiming toward a full real season in the spring of 2026. You talked about, maybe playing some games this fall, like kind of exhibition games, and then trying to get it off the ground in 2026. What does that clear vision that you talked about look like now for 2026?
I think what's the enthusiasm you're hearing because we're so close. There's some groundbreaking things that we've been working on that, I ain't gonna announce, but John, we're so close to not only see we're gonna put ourselves in a pretty strong position. The work has been done, the lessons have been learned. Some of the things that we're putting together is going to be special. A lot of things that, what we're going to do is going to be groundbreaking.
There are a lot of people who have gone public about all these different things over the years, and you said you kind of just, stayed away from it. You've been very open with me here, though. And so what would you say to people who, some players that maybe you're trying to get in, or some other players or coaches that might be looking to the league? What would you say to them when they might Google National Gridiron League and see it's like it's been painted as a phantom league or a scam? What would you say to them?
Well, have a conversation with me. You'll see in terms of what I'm trying to do. It's none of that. At the end of the day, how I feel? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think that's going to continue? No. Also, in terms of being a part of something that's going to be pretty special, I think from a player perspective, a lot of guys want to get back outdoors. The AstroTurf beating them up. Also, in terms from the coaches, we offer a great opportunity here in terms of them being able to put a program together, not necessarily, a team. We're trying to really build programs here. So we'll see over time. I ain't trying to convince nobody, John. At the end of the day, I want guys who look at the bill, who ain't scared to get their hands dirty and understand that you helping build something from the ground up. And that's what we're about. Right now, I look at us as a small emerging D2 program that's going to eventually be a Power 5 type program.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on the National Gridiron League's potential down in the comments. And if you are a channel member, you can see my full unedited interview with Joe McClendon. If you're not a channel member, you can join for just 99 cents. You'll get exclusive access to videos, early access to other videos, and of course, the invaluable shout out. You can cancel anytime. Also, check out my free Substack for more alt football news. Thank you for watching, and here's some other videos you might like.